Hello, everybody. In this opportunity, we will talk about self-direct technology use, language learning. My name is Jennifer Medina, and my classmates are Diana Geraldine Hernandez, Laura Natalie Jaurigui, and Janet Pinoza.
Okay. Why is important to use of technology in the autonomous learning? The use of technology actually is really important in every ambit, but in autonomous learning, the, this may help you to being autonomous without help of the others. When you use these tools, you can identify material resources and choose whatever that you want. When we use this tool, you can learn strategies for your daily life. And nowadays, most of the students had access to any kind of technology, but they didn't know how to use it. That's why the teachers have to motivate their students to use these kinds of technology to being autonomous when they are at home. In the theoretical framework, instead of stay away from the technology in the classrooms, we should add this as a tool from home, yeah, for these school and university students. And more with the situation that we are having right now, it will be a really good example. When we are using a tool, we have to uh, use these three rules. Number one, perceive is usefulness. Number two, attitude to technology use. And number three, educational compatibility. These three rules will help you to choose the tool that you need to use to be autonomous in terms of learning.
Okay, research methodology. The first part is participants. The participants in this study were second language learners, recruited from one university in Hong Kong, and ranged from 18 to 31 years old. In this case, the students are students from Chinese, Spanish, Italian, French, and Korean. The second one is material. The survey items were constructed referring to previous works on language learners, self-regulate use of technology for learning, and were adapted from existing instruments in technology adoption literature to fit the specific context of language learning. These materials were extracted from a class in the university. And finally, we have modeling and analysis. The survey response data were analyzed using structural equation modeling, SEM, to evaluate and modify the hypothesis theoretical model. Why this survey? The university chose this survey because this system control all around learning with the relationships with technology. The total effect refers to the magnitude of one variable's influence on another. The total effect of a variable on another can be decomposed into direct effects and indifferent effects. This means that these um, these topics of learning coexist each other. And the final result show that the students was so many time searching and learning with useful tools.
Technology use personal will and by the indirect product of social support. Within this model motivation for language learning and perceived Utility were the two dominant people of the use of technology. Not only did it directly influence the use of technology, but it also exerted an indirect effect through perceived utility and self-regulation. The more motivated students are toward learning the target language, the more likely they are to exercise their agency in using technology to support their learning experience outside of their language classes. Facilitating conditions that had a small significant indirect effect on technology use through perceived usefulness, self-regulation, and computer self-efficacy. These findings show that technology resources shared by teachers and peers help students realize the potential of language learning technology, encourage them to take control of learning, and boost their confidence in their ability to capacitate of their potentials. The interest and beliefs about the value of task students have in learning a particular language, the great for support of the teacher and peers for technology in TAFE, language learning, and this calls the connection students feel between the use of technology and their language learning expectations, the more likely they will be perceive the usefulness of using technology of language learning.
In my case, I am going to talk about discrepancies between the conceptual model and the structural model. In this case, the effects to technology use did not hypothesize significant a role, but rather educational capability replace it is more determinant. The player, in this case, the player is a person that learn or the students, and the technology in this case was arguments is argument general model. Its reliability, convergent and discriminant evaluate the author. Continue. Implications on educational intervention framework, such as said in past slates, my classmates. I complement this part. Is the framework is a vision about the learning support, the language support, and the specified is the learn is become flexible, accessible, that when we learn other language, students complete desync, online presence, participatory, and is important because the students learn to problem solving, testing bases, starting learning, and it's important because we stay use cognitive and metacognitive strategies when we learn with new apps or in online. This study identified that language learning is important, the motivation, prevents access, and the student capability that measure in the factors drive the language. In general terms about this topic, is great because the technology is a great opportunity for develop and enrichment in our listening, reading, and speaking, in a oral comprehension in the English language. In other hand, therefore, it is necessary to assume the change of exclusion pedagogical proposals, the teaching of learners a different way from the traditional school, which generates and impact educations, is a process and lets the effect themselves in other create digital citizens, because we need a, more better of education, and this tool is the technology. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.